TIFU. By not releasing, I've been allergic to my dog for 10 years. So, long story short, I've had my dog Kya since I was 13 years old. She's a mutt, but we were told she was hypoallergenic because she has hair instead of fur. I never really paid attention to my breathing unless it got really bad, and apparently, I've just been breathing through my mouth for most of my life without even thinking about it. Sometimes it would get so difficult to breathe through my nose that I assumed I had a deviated septum. But since almost everyone in my family has a dog and we all assumed Kya was hypoallergenic, it never once crossed my mind that she might be the problem. I just chalked it up to seasonal allergies, the cold, or even the heat. And no, I never got an allergy test, never saw an ENT, just assumed this was how everybody breathed. Fast forward to last month. My family went on a trip to Florida, but I had to stay behind because of work. Since I work long hours in construction, they took Kya with them so she wouldn't be left alone. At first I didn't think anything of it, I was just home alone, chilling, catching up on sleep. But because of the weather, I wasn't able to work. We had snow and freezing temperatures, and since construction relies so much on good conditions, I was basically stuck at home with nothing to do. Now, I'm a really talkative person when people are around, but if I'm alone, I don't really talk to myself. So about 3 days into the week, a friend called me, and when I went to answer, I realized my lips were stuck together. I hadn't opened my mouth in hours. That was the moment it hit me. I had been breathing through my nose the entire time without even noticing. And more importantly, I could actually breathe. At this point I was in full detective mode. I started walking around my house breathing through my nose like some kind of lunatic, trying to figure out if there was something in a specific room that was triggering my allergies or whatever I thought was going on. But no, nothing. I could breathe perfectly fine in every single room. I kept trying to trigger whatever had made my nose feel stuffed for most of my life, but it just wasn't happening. And that's when I started to suspect something was off. A few days later my family came back with Kya. And immediately I felt it again. The tightness, the congestion, the inability to breathe through my nose. In a last-ditch effort I ran to the pharmacy, bought some Claritin, and popped one. 20 minutes later I could breathe. Perfectly. I was absolutely floored. I had gone 10 whole years thinking that struggling to breathe through my nose was just normal, that it was just how life was. Turns out I've been allergic to my own dog this entire time. And now I have to live with the fact that I have spent a decade just accepting mild suffocation as a normal way of life. Too long did not read. I never could breathe through my nose, so I thought everybody was either lying or had massive nostrils. When I was without the dog for a week, I could breathe, then when it came back, I couldn't. I took a Claritin and found out I had pet allergies. Edit. Someone mentioned that I could be allergic to the saliva, so it would make sense that while my dog was gone, the allergies stopped. I'd recommend getting the allergy test. You could be allergic to some product one of your family members uses. Unless you deep cleaned the house, it seems weird it made that much of a difference just having the dog gone for a few days. I only found out when I moved out for college. I could breathe again but didn't think much of it. Years later I got a dog of my own and found out I am definitely allergic. A few years of immunotherapy, allergy shots, and I have not allergic to them since. Small price to pay for dogs. People usually aren't allergic to the fur or hair. That's a scam from doodle breeders. Most people are allergic to the pet's saliva or dander. My sister is allergic to the saliva, so this makes sense to me that Op could breathe better while the dog was gone. Maybe you're allergic to a perfume or other scented product somebody in your family wears. Dander doesn't disappear when the dog does. Today I fucked up for letting my son, 10 years old, what he wants. I thought I was being a cool parent by letting my son make more of his own choices. He's 10, responsible for his age, and I figured giving him some freedom would be a good thing. Well, yesterday, I asked him what he wanted for dinner, expecting the usual pizza or burgers. This kid looks me dead in the eye and says, "Flaming hot Cheetos and ice cream." I laughed, but he wasn't joking. I told him, "All right, but you have to eat all of it." He was thrilled. Fast forward 2 hours, he's hunched over the toilet, crying, red-faced, and regretting everything. His stomach was not built for that war zone of dairy and spice. Now he won't stop telling me how I ruined his life. His words, not mine. He spent the whole night groaning dramatically, swearing off Cheetos forever. I asked if he wanted medicine, but he refused because, in his words, "This is my burden to bear." I can't tell if I should feel bad or if this was just a valuable life lesson in disguise. Either way, my wife thinks I'm an idiot. Was I too lenient, or did I just teach him a lesson he'll never forget? Too long did not read. Sometimes as a parent we act like one. You live, you learn. He learned LMAO. He'll live and y'all will laugh about it. Sounds like he learned that's not a dinner, And you learned there may need to be some light guardrails on raw unadulterated choices for now. Wow, I would never have thought of such an effective way to discourage a kid from eating junk food for dinner. Props to you, sir. I loved his stoic, "This is my burden to bear," like he's in hospice in his final hours. Lol, I didn't have any rules for me kids except 2. 1. Don't kill your sibling. 2. Don't do dumb shish. I had to try to explain to an doctor. Everything else was negotiable. I've been right enough times that they take my word for it when I say, I wouldn't recommend that. Semicolon closing parenthesis. Rolling on the floor laughing, rolling on the floor laughing, rolling on the floor laughing. Okay, first off, your son is taking it like a champ, and that says something about y'all as parents. So don't feel bad about letting him make his own choices. I remember when I was around 11-12, my parents were going to be out for the day and my sister had just moved out. Best day ever. Until the bag of family-sized Doritos and ramen noodles and cupcakes came up. Moderation was learned that day, and now it's only the small bags, and ramen every now and then. Y'all will laugh and chuckle about it later. GG's M8. Back in the day, oldster here. Our parents would make us smoke a whole carton of cigarettes if they caught us smoking. This seems way milder.